Hey there, this is Shane Trejo. We're doing a video report for the Populist Brief News. Haven't done one of these in a few months. We've been working on getting the website up and making it functional. Easier said than done there. Getting a lot of censorship on different social media platforms. So those are little hiccups we got to overcome, but still we're keep growing, adding people on as contributors, have more video content coming for you throughout the summer. So I just wanted to, since we do a Populist Brief, what we do is basically short articles, some original reporting, other issues that are being underreported. We try to put a light on that. So one thing that we have reported on extensively is Trump's trade policies. And these have been very controversial amongst the Republican Party, conservative movement, libertarians, Trumpsters, and so on and so forth. A lot of people of the Austrian school or the pro-Milton Friedman free market school have derided Trump's tariff push. They've said that it's going to cause economic calamity. It's going to, all the cheap goods that are from foreign countries that we're dependent on, those prices are going to go up. And obviously none of us want consumer goods prices to go up. We don't want jobs to leave town. But at the same time, many of us have seen Trump, his negotiating prowess, how he has, used issues kind of, as a smokescreen for something that, he really wants in negotiations. So what I've seen is that Trump, is using these tariffs as a mechanism to try to create fairer trade. And fair trade is one of those terms that can be used to mean anything, but in this case, fair trade means good trade policies for American consumers. So a lot of these different other countries will levy a massive tariff on the United States, and then we will just dump all their goods into our markets without any sort of repercussion. Now, I'm not for tax hikes, but at the same time, it does seem like a raw deal. It seems like there should be at least reciprocity when it comes to trade agreements with us and other countries. Otherwise, we do get screwed, and it's not a good thing that we're relying on cheap foreign-made goods. Right now, we're kind of in a malaise as an economy. Back when we were a powerhouse, we were producing all the goods and exporting them throughout the world. I think that's a better position to be in, and it may not be able to get there overnight, but I think what Trump is doing is a good first step toward getting there. And we saw some progress at the G7 summit, where Trump, he was there with his cabinet, with cabinet members, and he was telling the G7 summit that we should get rid of all tariffs. Why don't we just do free trade? Why don't we just all get rid of these tariffs? So he kind of turned the shoe around against these globalists, showing their hypocrisy. Even had Larry Kudlow, his economic advisor, give the doctrinaire free market talk. So this was huge progress, just happened today or yesterday. So I think this shows exactly what Trump is doing. People say that he's an idiot, he is easily manipulated, he goes off on a whim here and there. That may be true to an extent, but if you go back 30 years, what he said on trade has remained the same. On that issue in particular, he's been pretty rock solid, and I give him a ton of credit for ending the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and entering, using some leverage to goad other countries into giving trade deals that are more favorable to American producers and consumers. And it always, I've read a lot of things throughout the years from these so-called free market think tanks in Washington, D.C., Cato Institute, Heritage Foundation, so on and so forth, American Enterprise Institute. So they always talk about the benefits of free trade, but they don't really talk about the tariffs that are levied on, Americans who want to sell their goods in other countries. So I think they don't really give you the full scope of the issue because what these corporate think tanks want, they really want is open borders and cheap labor. Not because it's, families are being broken up and the humanitarian angle. That's just the ruse to sucker people in to support corporate neoliberal status quo policies. So the Koch brothers and other rich oligarch donors, they want that cheap labor here. So they want the third world to pour in so they can replace them or replace you with them, give them a low wage, and then, if they're not shipping out your job out the door, they're bringing in a low-wage person from the third world to replace you. This is a big problem. I think Trump's headed in the right direction. Obviously, there's going to be some missteps along the way. Trump's, at the Populist Brief, we've criticized a lot of Trump's personnel decisions, but nevertheless, he seems to be headed in the right direction on the trade front, and it does seem like it's good to have a guy with that sort of negotiational gravitas, that ability to deal, in particular when dealing with foreign affairs. And Trump, he hasn't been perfect by any means, but way better than the status quo on trade and foreign affairs in particular. This is the first episode of Populist Brief Video News with me. I just want to shine a little bit more of a light on these issues that we cover briefly with Populist News, Populist Brief News. Please check us out at pb-news.com. Check us out on Gab, on YouTube, on Facebook at Populist Brief. We mostly have our platform on Facebook right now because pretty much we've been attacked and thrown off all the other ones. It's a pain in the ass, although it is funny when I get called a Ruski agent by idiots on Reddit and Twitter. So it's kind of funny, but at the same time it's depressing that these people have the power to censor a free press in this day and age. These trolls and idiots and cowards on social media. But we're gonna fight through it, and I'll have more, at least one per week from this point on, video blogs trying to explain the context around the issues, and yeah, we're going to be tackling all the key issues moving forward. The next video blog I'll have is going to be about the status of the liberty movement in the age of Trump. Thanks for watching.